Welcome back everyone for another solo run. In the last one we took on Pokémon Blue with just Starmie. In today's challenge we're going to take on Pokémon Blue with Squirtle. I have done Yellow with Pikachu, so I thought why not Blue with Squirtle. I'm hoping it's not too terrible. I think we should be able to get through it without too horrible of a time of grinding. We start this run without the randomizer for once, and just pick Squirtle, so our rival will take Bulbasaur, which makes this as difficult as we can. So we start by taking on Bulbasaur from the rival. I just spam Tackle as much as possible, maybe a Growl, and end up winning. We next go right back to Brock at as low level as possible, but Bubble just easily takes out both Geodude and Onix for our first badge. We go through Mount Moon and come out to meet the rival now at level 23. We're able to bite our way all the way through Pidgeotto, Abra, Rattata, and Bulbasaur. I did have one attempt on this I didn't show that I got wrecked before getting bite, but once I had it, it carried me through the battle for a win. After traveling through Nugget Bridge and seeing Bill, we arrive at the second gym to face Misty. Our teams have the same typing, so I was ready for a long battle, but for some reason I'm guessing because I'm also water type, they kept going for Tackle and X-Defense. So I recently just gotten the TM for Dig, so I just spammed that, and it did pretty good damage each time until I finally got the second gym badge. I go down to the SS Anne and take on all the trainers, and finally the rival. He starts with Pidgeotto. I take it out with a couple of bites. Next is Raticate. I go for Dig, they miss, and I one-shot with Dig. Next is Kadabra, and I just bite it away. Finally we have Ivysaur, but once Dig connected, we had won the battle. Right after that we get to Surge in the third gym. I'm worried on typing, but I did get Dig, so we should be able to clean up here, and hopefully not take a big hit. We take on Voltorb, Pikachu, and Raichu, and we're able to dig all the way through it. Raichu did get a big hit Thunderbolt on us that also paralyzed, so if I missed that dig I would have lost this battle, but luckily that didn't happen, so we walk away with a win. This was one of our bigger matchup issues to get through gym-wise, so it's nice to have a super effective move when we get to it. The next major battle is running into the rival again in Pokemon Tower. He starts the battle with Pidgeotto. We hit it with a couple of body slams and get rid of it. Next is Gyarados, and apparently I can't use Dig because I forgot its flying type, but a few more body slams do the trick. Third is Growlithe, and Water Gun one-shots that. Next is Kadabra, who I just dig to knock out. Finally we have Ivysaur. I used a couple of digs after it missed a Leech Seed. Still easy for now. I'm sure that won't be the case soon. Next up I went to this top of the Celadon store to receive the TM for Ice Beam to take on the next battle. So next we have Erica in the fourth gym. She starts with Victory Bell. One Ice Beam takes it right out. Second is Tangela. A second Ice Beam finishes it immediately. Finally we have Vileplume that somehow survives an Ice Beam, but unlucky for them it's frozen solid and a second Ice Beam works to get our fourth gym badge. I go through the Safari Zone to get Surf and Strength and then take on the Poison Gym and Koga. With Koga. For Coughing, Muck, and the second Coughing, we just need to use Dig to get past each one of them. It also helped that Koga kept using X attacks instead of poisoning me. Finally he has Weezing, who would probably tank a couple of digs and do some damage, but it just immediately self-destructs while I'm underground, and I win without even having to hit it. I think they could have used Poison Gas immediately on me and whittled me down, but it wasn't the best AI and it made it easy for me and Squirtle. Next we have the rival battle at Sylph. He starts with Pidgeot, so I one-shot with Ice Beam. Next is Gyarados, so we Ice Beam, then switch to Body Slam to finish it. Third is Growlithe, so a quick Surf makes quick work of it. Fourth is Alakazam, so we Body Slam it out of the battle. And finally Venusaur, which I choose to go for Dig over Ice Beam so I can avoid some attacks and still do pretty good damage until we win the battle. Right after that is Boss Rocket in the Sylph President's office. I surf on this fool's Pokemon so fast they don't get a chance to attack me. I don't understand why they made his team completely weak to water. Like, why not give him a Persian or something just to change it up? I guess that wasn't a thing yet in Gen 1 though, so he just had ground type still. We finally get to the next gym, the 6th gym with Sabrina. She starts off the battle with Kadabra, and one Body Slam takes it out. For Mr. Mime we need one Body Slam and one Dig. Venomoth took me 2 hits, one Body Slam and one Ice Beam. And then finally Alakazam, who with constant recovering and Hyper Potions took every single move I have and was hitting me hard with Psywave. It was only because it refused to attack me when I was at 8 hit points that I was able to come out of this battle with a win. Otherwise I'd be grinding up and doing it again. I've luckily not had to grind in the wild yet. I did every battle in Sylph and on my routes basically, so it kept me at a high enough level just being a Squirtle. Then we have the 7th gym where I just surf on this dude. That's Growlithe, Ponyta, Rapidash, and lastly Arcanine, all one surf. What a joke when you have a water Pokemon. I think the 8th will be close to the same. We get to Giovanni in the 8th gym, and as predicted, we go through just surfing and destroy his team. They really wanted you to pick Squirtle in this game. It basically can just carry you through all the gyms. We'll see with the Elite Four, but we had very few struggles getting here, and not any grinding besides on trainers. Right after that, we have the last normal rival battle, and he begins with Pidgeot. I go for Ice Beam, and it barely survives, and went for Whirlwind, which didn't work. A second Ice Beam sealed it. Next was Rhyhorn, which just takes a Surf. Third is Gyarados, who tanks an Ice Beam and a Body Slam, but the third does it in. Then Growlithe is an easy Surf. Fifth is Alakazam, who takes a Body Slam, then Reflects, so it takes another one, but the third one is good for a win. We finally have Venusaur, and Ice Beam does good damage, but it Razor Leafs, gets a crit, and puts me at 1 health, but I luckily outspeed to put it to bed with a second Ice Beam. That was harder than expected, but hopefully I can get some levels in Victory Road and use all the rare candies I've saved along the way. We finally arrive at the Elite Four, and I'm at level 71 after Victory Road and using all the rare candies I had found throughout the game, which I believe was 7. But Lorelei is immediately a pain for me. I have no moves that are super effective, and just battling all of these Pokemon is making me use every move I have. Dugong rested at low health to waste moves, and Lapras kept confused raying, so I hit myself. I was eventually down to one single hit point when I finally took down Lapras and win the first battle. Next up is Brawly, and he's kind of a joke. For Onix, I just surf and take it out. Second is Hitmonchan. I dig twice, and it misses twice to take it out. Hitmonlee is the same story. Then the second Onix is another surf. Finally we have Machamp that I surf for big damage, then it misses submission, and I surf again to go through the entire battle untouched. Our third member is Agatha. She begins with Gengar, it puts me to sleep, so I take a lot of damage, and it doesn't help that I keep going for surf because I don't think here, but I eventually take it down. Next is Golbat, so I go for Ice Beam and take that out. Third is Haunter, which luckily goes down to an Ice Beam and a Surf, with only confusing me. Fourth is Arbok, which I luckily remember is Poison type and Dig is super effective on. And finally the last Gengar, which I can use Dig on too, for one-shot victory. I'm lucky I swept the last 4 because one hit would have taken me out, with only 31 hit points left the whole time. Our fourth Elite Four member is of course Lance. He begins the battle with Gyarados, so I try an Ice Beam, which is super effective but doesn't do much. I then go for Dig like a dope again, and then get hit by a Hyper Beam to take me down to 10 health. I have 2 turns now though, so I Body Slam and Ice Beam to finally get it out of there. Then there's 2 Dragonairs that each just take 1 Ice Beam. Then Aerodactyl, who misses its move and is taken down with a Surf. And finally the mighty Dragonite just takes a quick Ice Beam to defeat the final Elite Four member. We get to our final test, the Champion Battle. He begins with Pidgeot, so I use Ice Beam. It survives and uses Mirror Move for a little damage, and I take it out with a Surf. Next is Alakazam, and it tries to go for Recover, but I'm able to hit it hard with Surf. It recovers, and I Surf again. It reflects, and I go for Body Slam and Paralyze, so now I outspeed and Surf it down. Third is Rhydon, which, what a joke. Fourth is Gyarados, so I Ice Beam at Leers, I Ice Beam again. It Hyper Beams for big damage, and I Ice Beam again, but it has to recharge, so I finish it with a Body Slam. Then follows Arcanine, which an easy Surf, and finally Venusaur, which tanks a super effective Ice Beam but hits me with Mega Drain, and I thought I lost right there, but it doesn't do as much as I expected, and I can become a champion with one final Ice Beam. Shelly goes into the Hall of Fame at level 74, and we see that if you want to win a Generation 1 Pokemon games, just grab the starter and never let it evolve, even though it annoyingly tries to at every single level it gains. You think Dragonite? Nah. Squirtle carries with ease in Gen 1. No need to catch anything other than for HMs. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. Let me know if you liked this or you'd like to see another one like this. Or if you have any other ideas, just give me a comment, or a like, or dislike if it was garbage. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.